Yeah, what I think my 2025, 2026 experiments might be is I know a little about vibration. I know a little bit. My uncle is a somewhat geologist. He's made money off studying atmospheric research, Colorado Springs. Uh, I look at vibration and waves as a interesting phenomenon, and I wonder, like on a large scale. I mean, America is full of just. I think it's more motivated by profit, and they build these, antenna arrays and all this stuff. I'm pretty sure you'd need like one antenna array per 60 miles or so, 20 miles at least. But I think it's just motivated by profit margins. Like the more they can set up, the more money they can charge and lease out. Like I don't think this is organized. This is unorganized chaos. But like my inventions, I'm gonna bring it back. Like the sewing machine was a very look at that bird over there. Sewing machine was a very interesting phenomenon, and just how to make rope and twine. Like those machines were ingenious. Yes, me, like the computers now design themselves. Like, oh. So I was out here earlier. I just look at the weather phenomenon, and just now, meteorologists will use all their latest forecasts and technologies, and I read a story that a man, I don't remember who he was, but a man prayed for a miracle, and it was like he said it was like the earth responded to him. The earth is alive, and that makes the most sense to me. This is definitely a part of a bigger organized living creature, living organism, and just like a cat, you can scratch it or you can tickle it. Yeah, see the thunder is rolling in. This is why I love Tampa Bay. But, with a little bit more funding, I think, I kind of fell through today. I was supposed to get a freaking high voltage transformer, and it kind of fell through, but maybe it happened for a reason. But I want to, I've never really studied too much of the water phenomenon and how to really rock it, let's say.
Yes, okay, but then now if we had a joint bank account and our direct deposits going,
Yeah.
then it's going to be
But we live in Tampa. This was the Florida, or the capital, lightning capital of the world, or United States. I think it moved down to like Venezuela or something. I know the experiments I was privy to have been happening in Trinidad after the war, and yeah, lots of information, man. Lots of history is written by the victors, and that could mean a lot of different things. But I read all these interesting mind control so-called experiments, and I just don't buy most of it. Like I know there's manipulation and brainwashing, but at the end of the day, we are living creatures designed by God, and if God wanted us like something to control our mind, he wouldn't have put access to himself out there. Just look how beautiful this is. Well, I wonder how many points I would need. For my experiences in Brooksville, I always use 3 points, and roughly, like what I learned about, I wouldn't say map points, but mainly like Pythagoras type theorem. If you can draw it on 2 dimensions and 3 dimensionals, I mean, anything's imaginable. Like right now, I would just pulse maybe this ground current, or like I would look at these waves. Like I'd measure the wavelengths and it's just, I know there's so many factors here, but like these little ripples all around me. If you just box in 1 square meter of it and freeze it, like it will tell you a lot, and it goes on forever. I mean, but if I could just control 1 square meter of this ocean, it would ripple out and have large effects across possibly the whole planet. I've done this with well water, I've done this with groundwater and temperatures. I mean, there's so much left for the imagination. Like I said, when it comes to schooling, there was always told what's the word? It's do no harm. Like in engineering, you supposedly take an oath of do no harm. And You know, you can't do no harm without making profit. Profit comes in the way of this every time. And I need to get more into the biblical community. I know my father, rest his soul, was he had me reading Revelations to him at the age of 7 or 8. And man, if I am not saying this is somewhat coming true, I mean, I like to joke God was definitely involved in time travel, or some of the people are. And it's just the ultimate thing. Time reversal, time travel is just the ultimate, like the one who can control that, or the one who, is in charge. It would be God. I know my grandma told me that 700 Jewish and German scientists were killed at the end of the war due to Hitler's charade about time travel and time reversal. And like I said, I know the so-called Philadelphia experiments were definitely an interesting concept. I don't know if they've ever been proven true, but that makes a lot of sense from what I've seen. But from what mass is compressed light. So the lighter the mass in the periodic table, the lighter the element, that's going to move first in time reversal. The lighter stuff, from what I've seen, the heavier objects don't really move. Like, I've never experienced with my theories and what I've seen with my own eyes. I've never woken up in a different time. I've never done an experiment and woke up in a different time. I woke up in the future where most people don't exist, and there's just a lot of lost souls about 2 or 3 seconds into the future. And from what I've seen, I could go into the past until I moved at my house in 2003. I mean, in a way, it's not, I don't know how to explain that one, because the proven theories I've had that I can put on paper is about a day to 6 days back. And it's more or less just freezing time. And then catching back up is the real shocker, let's say. And as far as that goes, I don't know. I want to know where I fit into all this. I mean, I've proven I'm going to go around and maybe interview at least 10 people in the not too distant future, and let's see their side of things. And you can't argue anymore. In 2012, let me be honest, I mean, what I built in 2012 was just insane. And I don't know what I was after. Then I was searching for Third Reich Nazi experiments that my grandma and grandpas informed me about. And let's just say it ended in a massive explosion. And I don't want to get into that, but it's definitely a massive explosion and potentially a starship sighting, I would say. But then again, we're all time travelers, and trust me, we all have a decay date. Whatever this soul is we possess is eternal. And it's only eternal in a strange sense, let's just say. Because God gave us the tree of life and tree of knowledge. God takes away our knowledge upon death. Only very few limited creatures, humans, are allowed to retain knowledge after death. I'd like to think I'm special, but probably not. But I mean, I've had interesting conversations with Nikola Tesla himself. I mean, I was born April 6th. My dad's birthday is July 10th, 1950. I was conceived, according to my mom, July 10th, 1950. I am a Bohemian, Czechoslovakian, Czech Republic, Austrian-Hungarian Empire, dating back to what bloodline? It was a bloodline that was believed to have gone extinct in 700 years ago. I was always told this as a kid. It's it started with the Manistin Dynasty. I don't know. That's all hearsay bullcrap. But then I'm pure Appalachian, Shoals, Indiana, country man, war veteran, My mom had the pick of the litter, wealthy European family, money, fame, fortunes in other countries, and she picked a humbled war veteran out of everybody. I mean, we always like to joke we were mutts, you know, the Persian descents mixed with a quarter black man from Appalachian with blue eyes. I love him. God rest his soul. Where I'd be if he survived. Well, where wouldn't I be if he did? Well, Maminko and Babichko are in heaven, apparently. Alright. Well, Dikwi. This has been a beautiful sunset. Like I said, if I'm not delusional, man. I spent this whole 10 months now thinking I was somewhat the false prophet tied to the Jewish community in ways I don't really want to mention. It could just be delusional thinking. Also, it's not really too delusional. When your family heritage has done some crazy stuff for crazy people in the past, I mean, you don't really bring it up. I've brought my name down enough with my police adventures, and it sucks. I was so certain if I would have just ran back to my house and flipped a few switches, I would have never gone to jail. Most likely I wouldn't have. That's the scary part. Yeah, the lightning storms each and every night in Tampa. It's interesting. I get out of jail June 6th. I told everybody I was June 6th, Chris, and my delusions. I also told people I was the Antichrist, which I know I'm not. But this entity known as the Antichrist is definitely among us. It's not a man. It's not who you think. It's not even who I think. You know? But there's definitely two planes of existence, like this mirror world, like the world pretty much where others are observing you and looking at you, that we never see. It's as simple as that other point of view, the other eyes staring back at you, like this bird. And you can see just by, like, when you look at an animal and they can tell their lights and color spectrum, you can see like what reality they see. I mean, scientists of the day think deeply, not clearly. It must take one to think clearly. You must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. I tend to think clearly. And motivation's not by profit, by love. But reality sets in. Sucks to go through all this and thinking you're someone special, just to realize you go to jail like anybody else, and that they have built this system. And again, I like to say, I mean, who claims this? People claim their property, but people don't claim the safekeeping of our reality, of our dimension. And they like watch superhero movies and they're like, oh, their job is that. Like who? The government? The pilot of the drone and pilot of the F-22 flying around saying, this is mine, God. Keep the evil out. I don't know. Oh, we got women. Alright. Well, hopefully these experiments will resume later on this year with no ill intention, no ill consequences to my pride or others' pride. Use like words like glory and power, and will possibly set up these experiments around churches as well. Like, man, just that's almost God let me be crazy. Because like I said, if I do these experiments in front of the right people, and I'm right in the next, let's say I'm going to shoot for around 1930 or 2030 2038, 2039. I'll do the greatest magic trick a man has ever seen. I prepare this, I plan this, I test this sadly on my lab rats, let's say. And if it could be done, God willing, I would probably be the most richest man in the universe, because the powers of someone with these capabilities is beyond medicine, it's beyond science. But as my friend says, I mean, it's violating the laws of God with the lawless one in Isaiah, was it 14:12 or 14 something? It talks about a man who defies the laws of God and all that is known by God. And it's interesting, I had the nickname Morning Star. I was with Rachel Morningstar Hoffman as well. I was in St. Cecilia's, had a Catholic education, Catholic upbringing, as well as a private education. My grandmother was a SS history teacher and a science professor, and she taught me what I could, but at the end of the day she taught me to hire security. That was her best advice. Don't bring attention to yourself. But now that they're all dead, man, I'm the last one. My brother's out there. My brother got vaccinated. Yeah, and I think that's probably why I'm crazy. I've never been vaccinated in my life. Actually, I was scheduled to go to public school, and they tried to give me 7 vaccines, and I think I took 2 of them, like tuberculosis and polio or something, and I cried. My mom just signed all the paperwork, religious exemption for me. I'm pretty much untouched by that. Oh yeah, and if you have access to endless time and endless possibilities and endless realities and points of now to enter into past or future, you know, what would you do with them? But you just got to remember what I'm speak of is you wake up in a delusion. You know, you live an entire life. I mean, back in 2015, 2016, I had to literally tell a girl I was with that she never had a kid. Let's just say, I don't know, just call her a junkie, drug addict, whatever to this day, delusional, but hey, secrets are secrets, man. I remember a kid. So she played with the Tesla coils and fell asleep with them, so to speak. Let's just say I stopped experimenting on certain individuals after that, mainly myself. Main experiments, the time travel experiments are 2011, 2012, involving lasers, rotating lasers, attracting tornadoes, fire, building primary coils and rotating magnetic fields under my property in Brooksville, watching for any signs of solar radiation to absorb. They're pretty much the peak. That the sun to me has always looked like the point of the end of the coil to me. You know, like it's hard to imagine the sun having a wire in the sky connected to it, but most likely it does, in a weird sense, physical or non-physical. Let's see, I attracted a lightning bolt November 20th, 2011, and just say I saw a lot of knowledge and interesting, unnatural things that no man should ever lay eyes on. And then, let's just say April 15th, I branched off into another reality and started playing with atomic fireworks and modified 12-gauge shotgun in a magnetic field with nuclear material and other things, and fizzled in, fizzled out, I don't know. My grandma told me Hitler was on the process of creating an atomic bomb, but he just didn't have the nuclear material, and the first bomb he built was out of a 5-inch naval gun. I don't know. I hate to think it's that simple. Like if you have the enriched material, We all have catalytic converters and plasma. I don't know what else to say. And we live in the nuclear age, where you can literally just go to the desert and scrape it out of the dirt. You know, depleted uranium shot out of the sky on the unsuspecting victims' water supplies. And, well, I just gotta keep it simple. Tampa's a beautiful place. I love it. I love the lightning. You can't beat the bay. Like I said, if I had capital, I would want to do what my grandma and grandpa taught about, is harnessing the tidal energy underneath the Sunshine Skyway Bridge and things of this nature. Live in a beautiful world and age, and radiation, solar, ground, and cosmic and electromagnetic. I mean, these cell phone towers are causing global warming. Prove me wrong. Everything is. It doesn't take a genius to figure this out. Tell that to the stop oil people who are addicted to their phones, yell at you for hours about flying and driving. Don't consider what their little resonant devices are doing in their own pockets, especially their souls and consciousness. Alright, I got a little walk from me. Yeah, MacDill Air Force Base, that's where I was. I watched the tankers, the C-135s take off, and wonder what they're up to. Like I said, sadly I don't think this world is as organized as people think. All those elite people who've, I don't know. If you worship Satan, like I said, Satan wants nothing to do with you guys. I don't know. The only aliens I've met are lost humanoids that literally lost their purpose to have sex and die, and they're just curious. So how do we get back to this original timeline? The UFO spaceships I've flown in are more of like a plasma ball. They're not physically constructed. It's more of a memory. What I call them memory spheres. Alright. Yeah, capture 22:34 of my thoughts. Lightning makes me think interestingly. Maybe I'll upload it somewhere. Look at all this money, power. Where's the force? Power and force, I don't think you can accomplish much. Oh, that's an interesting look. Alright, exercise your brains. Use love, use emotions, feel your emotions, control your emotions. I'm one to say that, but I want to try to not do time travel or electrical time reversal experiments on my own. Losing the chance of psychosis is extremely high. Don't want to do this with that again. Alanis Morissette ride in the back of the freaking cockpit. God bless. Pray every night. Father, Son, Holy Spirit.